back to my channel where I talk about all things sustainable, eco-friendly, and consumer conscious. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been really encouraging, and all the subscribers and all the likes and all the comments. I really appreciate it, and I've said it before, it keeps me going and it keeps me wanting to make more and more of these videos. So thanks everyone. If you're new here, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to press that little bell that tells you that I post a video every Sunday. I decided to tie up my hair because it was getting in my face, and that is the story of my life. So today's topic is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and it's about fast fashion versus sustainable fashion. Today I'll talk about what I have done as a low impact consumer to reduce the amount of new clothing that I buy. I've been promising to make this video for a while. So today I'll talk about what you can expect to find in your local mall, and it's mostly going to be fast fashion choices. And what can you do instead to support sustainable fashion consumption? I'm a person who likes clothes. I'm a person who likes to dress up and look good every day. And not shopping is not a choice that I was willing to make. But I made other choices that allowed me to be, hopefully, a more conscious consumer of fashion. And if you're watching this still right now, you are considering making some of these changes for yourself. So let's go. So the other day I was at the mall, and as we were shopping, I was looking at fashion stores that were available at the local mall that we go to here. And I wasn't shocked, but it was really disappointing to find that I could find one single store in the whole mall that attempted to have sustainable production. And it was a shoe store of this brand. They specialize in shoemaking, and they use heavy metal free tanning for their leather, but they still use new leather. They also use recycled polyester for, other choices in their shoes. But they are insanely expensive, so of course your average consumer is not going to go and get $1,200 boots. They're going to go to the store next door and get, shoes for $100. I really want to talk about this important topic now because, first of all, it's Secondhand September, and you are encouraged to buy nothing new this month. I'm doing pretty well so far. I've gotten nothing new for myself. The only new thing I got was a jacket for my son, but I'll talk about shopping for kids later in this video, and you'll see that 90% of my kids' clothing is actually secondhand. And he doesn't care. I know there's a lot of videos about fast fashion and what it is and when it originated, so I don't have to talk about that. I want to talk mostly about why fast fashion is bad. What is wrong with fast fashion exactly? I'm not trying to make you feel bad about shopping at Zara or Pull & Bear, which is actually owned by the same company, and actually half the mall is owned by the same company, and the other half is actually owned by LVMH. But the problem is that with rapid turnover of clothing, we are putting a crazy burden on production. So we're using more water, more carbon, more heavy metals to produce that horrible leather. We're using more unethical labor. If you think of your cotton t-shirt, that cotton had to be grown. Cotton takes an incredible amount of water to be grown and crazy amounts of pesticides unless it's organic cotton. Then the cotton had to be transported, so using carbon. Then from there it had to be made into a cloth using some kind of fossil fueled machinery and unethical labor. Then that cloth was most likely shipped to another developing country where most likely women made it into a garment and were paid like less than $2 a day to make it in horrendous conditions. And then this cotton t-shirt had to be shipped back to the developed world where you're shopping at the mall and you're looking at it, $5, I'll get it, and then later you don't feel bad about throwing it away. For those of you who are saying, well, I actually donate my clothing, and this is where I was before. I always thought that when I donate my clothing, I am doing a good thing. I am not throwing it away. I'm actually, giving it to the less fortunate. But, surprise, surprise, most of that clothing is not actually used how you think it's going to be used. About 30% of that recycled material is going to be turned into absorbent rags for industry. Another 30%, up to 30%, is going to be turned into filler for things like furniture. And the rest is going to be shipped. It's going to be shipped again, so you're using another form of carbon to ship it to a less developed country where it's either going to be burned or it's going to be used by people. And that is, the best case scenario. So this fast fashion mall is filled with clothes and it makes you want to buy. So our consumption is actually going unchecked, and it's happening all the time, everywhere. People are not thinking about what they're buying, and it's creating a demand for the companies to make more. So yes, if you and I don't buy a few pieces of clothing at the store, it's not going to change the world. But if we keep telling people not to do it, and maybe encouraging companies to have a more sustainable, more low impact production line where they can still be profitable, of course, maybe they will change their ways. We vote with our dollar, especially women. Women buy 7 times and discard 7 times more clothing than men. And this to me says that really the power is in women's hand when it comes to changing the consumption model of these companies. So since starting on this journey for a low impact lifestyle this year, I have made a commitment to not buy new clothing as much as I can. Of course, underwear and socks I'm still going to buy new, but I'm going to talk about in a different video about sustainable choices that we can make there. And if you're really interested in that, do make a comment, because I do want to know if you are interested in more of that type of video so I can make it later. I am focusing here on what can you do instead of buying new clothes. So the choices are, you can go thrift in a shop, you can go to a few secondhand stores online, and then of course you can choose sustainable brands if you want to have new clothes. I'll take you through some of the ways that I shop, and hopefully you will like them and follow suit and reduce your impact through fashion. Number 1 is sticking to a classic wardrobe. Don't be a slave to the trends. I am looking at you, Balenciaga sneakers. By choosing a classic wardrobe, you are not going to be looking for that trendy piece every season. You will stick to your classics, and I'm not talking capsule, I'm not quite a minimalist, not quite there. But by sticking to classics, you will have to simply replenish things at a much slower rate rather than buy new stuff all the time. Low impact movement and conscious consuming is not about not buying. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about buying less, and when you do have to buy consciously. Number 2, whenever you're thinking of buying something, check secondhand first. So I have been pretty successful with this so far. Every time I'm thinking of, I needed a new jacket. So instead of going and getting a new jacket, I actually checked online and I got this gorgeous, fantastic Dolce & Gabbana jacket, but it was used and it's still in amazing condition, and I got it and I love it and I'm gonna keep using it. Likewise, I've gotten a lot of cool designer steals secondhand, such as purses and bags. By choosing secondhand, you are reducing the amount of resources that it takes to produce new clothing or new leather goods. You are also contributing to the secondhand culture. Come on, it's 2019. We don't have to be ashamed of buying secondhand clothing, because we know that if we want to convince companies that they don't need to produce as much, we don't need to buy as much new stuff. If it already exists and it's in great condition, why get a new piece when you can have a classic but it's used? Of course, with shopping online, especially used, you need to know your sizing and you need to know the make of the brand and how they run, big or small. If you want me to make a guide on how to shop at Vestiaire Collective, comment below. I love that shop, and I have become basically a pro at shopping online for used goods. So if you are new to this and you would like some guidance, ask me in the comments and I will provide it. Likewise, I've just recently discovered Vinted, and it's available here in Poland, but it's also available in different countries. And what it is, it's individuals selling their things. It's incredible for adults, yes, particularly for kids. Number 3 actually has to do with kids. Like I've told you before, 90% of my kids' clothes are secondhand. There's nothing wrong with it. Kids grow so fast. They get dirty. They rip clothes because they play hard. Why not get secondhand clothing? Here in Poland, it's really, really popular. There's a lot of secondhand, specifically kids stores that carry, everything in all the sizes. So I can go across the street from my house to a secondhand shop and get my child a whole new wardrobe seasonally, and then I can bring it back for somebody else to use. Or normally what I do is I give it to somebody who has a younger child so they can reuse it. For kids, it's not even a question of getting used clothes. There is just no need for new clothes. There's so many clothes already created. Why waste the resources and the materials when we can just keep reusing them? Not indefinitely, of course, but we can give that piece of clothing more than one life. And the wonderful thing about kids, they don't care if it was secondhand or not. Take advantage of that. Not only will it cost you less, but it will also cost less to the earth. And number 4, sustainable brands. If you want to get new clothes, shop sustainable brands. Now, I find most sustainable brands that I know of are very relaxed. And this is just not me unless I am somewhere like on the playground where I can be in a relaxed clothing. But generally, I like dressing up. I don't want to wear tights and t-shirts all the time. So I haven't found sustainable brands that really specialize in fashionable wear that much. I have found this brand that I really like, but haven't had a chance to try. People love this brand, but again, I haven't had a chance to try it. Apparently, it's really great for basics. But when I need new t-shirts and underwear, I'm gonna go here and not Victoria's Secret. And number 5 I wanted to talk about is not really about what to buy and where and how, but it's about online shopping and shipping. With online shopping comes the burden of having it shipped to your house. And that is not the most sustainable thing you can do. So I've actually looked up a few research articles on this, and I found that the people who do this research, when they compare the amount of carbon that's produced with conventional shopping, and they compare it to the amount of carbon produced with online shopping, they find that neither one is carbon neutral. What they conclude is that the best way to be as carbon neutral as possible is to do conventional shopping, but do it very, very infrequently and do it in bulk. But in my opinion, that's just not reality. People are not going to go for fashion in bulk and not frequently. That is just not the consumption world we live in. And additionally, you have then people going to the mall and getting fast fashion items once again. So if you are an online shopper like me, but you want to reduce your impact, talk to the companies that you shop with. You can request to reduce the plastic packaging that is used in your items. So I have been really successful with that with Vestiaire Collective at Amazon. But you can also request, particularly in Amazon, that all the items can be consolidated and shipped together. Vestiaire Collective doesn't do that. They got back to me last week. Apparently they have a policy where they ship one item at a time. I'm not sure why that is, but if you can consolidate, do. Consolidating packaging and also reducing the plastic packaging that often comes with shipped products, but also thinking about the country of origin of that garment being shipped. So because I live in Poland, I always check boxes that limit where the items come from. So if you live in North America, do make sure that you check where your items are coming from before choosing to have them shipped to your location. I hope my passion about this topic is coming through in this video, because I really truly believe that the consumption is out of control in this world, and if we are to change anything, we need to check the level of our consumption. This journey has allowed me to see and understand what I cannot forget, and that is the impact fast fashion has on our society and on our resources. Fast fashion makes us want to buy more, so it's making us into incredible consumers. It doesn't want us to think about whether we need this item or not. It's playing on our brain psychology and even hormones in our brains to make us buy more, because it makes us feel good to have new stuff. By choosing to shop for fashion consciously and through sustainable brands and sustainable ways, you can actually reduce your own impact on the world and maybe, I hope, impact overall manufacturing of the companies that are currently involved in fast fashion to maybe change to more sustainable ways of production. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in our sustainability journey, check out any of these links below. Next time I will talk about my hair once again. I'll bring an update on how it's doing. And if you're interested in any fashion related topics that I mentioned earlier in this video, mention that in the comments below and I will make a video about anything that you're interested in. Thanks, bye!